Hi guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and today we are doing a backlist love. This is the final one of 2018. Heartbreaking. But don't worry, the series will continue in the new year, and in fact, I recorded the first one for 2019 before this video. Not sure why that happened, but it did. So for today's video, I'm taking a look at some books that I recommend as good funk breakers, because maybe you're experiencing some sads right now and need a book to get you through it. Or you just don't have time, you know, you're in that holiday crunch and you need some things that are quick and gripping to read. So I have 3 books that have been out for a while that I think fit the bill and that I read and loved and highly recommend. First, I have talked about before and talked about the author before as a funk breaker author for me, and that is Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. She's very funny and engaging. She just has the style that pulls you along, and though it's never necessarily going to knock your socks off, it's not like one of those books that's going to change your life. It is absolutely perfectly suited to being a funk breaker. It's one of those things that you just pick up, you fall right into, you laugh, you tear through the pages, and then you move on, and you're kind of energized from it, you know? Hex Hall, the series, I think is a strong one, and it is a funk breaker across the board, though I think it does diminish. This is my favorite of the series. I wasn't a huge fan of the end, just some things that happened, though I think it is still a good book. But this one, especially, is just one of those things that just charms you and makes you laugh, and that is what I personally look for in a funk breaker. Then we have the Splendor Falls by Rosemary Clement Moore. This is actually not the book I was going to recommend. The one that I was going to talk about I can't find on my shelves, and I got sick of looking, and this one is also worthy of the recommend. So I guess I would also include Rosemary Clement Moore in my funk breaker authors list. This one is a sort of fish out of water, like Northern Girl Goes to the South type of thing, so it has that element. It's also just a nice, well-done ghost story. It's got that kind of slight thrills and chills without being super creepy. It's got that kind of just general, maybe generic, like paranormal YA thing going on, but just well done and super engaging and super easy. And the way I mean that isn't that it's like crappily written and easy to tear through, but like one of those books that just kind of eases you in. It's comfortable, you can kind of settle into it. It doesn't demand too much of you, but it still gives you enough to keep you engaged. She just has that style that just really flows and invites you along. She does have a good amount of humor, especially in the book that I was going to recommend. We'll save that for another day when I find it. Yeah, she just has these characters in these worlds that I really love, and enough meat to the story, I think, to pull you along and break your funk. And the last one is a totally different take on the funk breaker, because sometimes what you need is something that is just damn compelling and leaves you wanting to know what happened. Is gripping, and I think you really can't beat a kind of mystery thriller book for that. And one that really fits the bill is After the Woods by Kim Savage. This, I would say you want to know your mood going in. This does deal with some dark things, so if the reason you need a funk breaker is because you've been in a dark place, probably don't go with this. Know yourself as a reader. For some people, confronting those things is good and it helps them. For others, it might just bog you down more, so just kind of know that going in. But it is a story about a girl who was kidnapped, essentially, and held for a while, and she's dealing with the aftermath of that, but also dealing with the fact that maybe things weren't quite as she thought they were, and that maybe things are even more fucked up than she thought they were. So it has this like slow reveal to it that's really complex and unsettling. It deals with some weighty things without, for me, getting bogged down in it, but again, kind of know your mood going in. But I mean, there's just no denying that it is super compelling, super gripping, really interesting mystery thriller. Even once you kind of start piecing it together and know what's going on, it still remains completely intriguing and engrossing, so highly recommend. There you have it. That is 3 books that I recommend if you are in a funk, want something either funny or gripping to kind of pull you through, or if you just want some very good, interesting books. All very different from each other, but all highly recommended. Let me know what you thought of the books in the comments if you have read them or have been wanting to read them. I would love to hear about it. And if you have any of your own backlist titles to recommend, please do so in the comments. But that is all for this last backlist love video of 2018. We'll see you again in 2019, but until then, I mean, I'm gonna see you before then, but for more backlist love, whatever. Until then, thank you guys for watching, and of course, happy reading!